All right, guys, we're gonna be talking about Lonzo Ball supposedly on the trade block, according to Jake Fisher. That the Chicago Bulls, obviously, we know that they're looking to trade Nikola Vucevic and Zach LaVine. That's been something for a while, but allegedly now Lonzo Ball is a guy that they're supposedly trading. He's an expiring contract. Yesterday, it was announced the Brooklyn Nets were also looking to not take on long-term salary. They only want expiring salary and draft picks. So could he be traded to a team like Brooklyn and then be a buyout candidate and then join a contending team? I think that's something to watch for. What do you guys expect to happen? Let me just read you the reports. So the Lonzo Ball one is no surprise then the Bulls executives, according to league sources, have been messaging rival front offices that they're willing to discuss the majority of their roster and trade talks up to the February 6th trade deadline. Most notably, sources say Chicago has expressed a desire to move Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, who both are on long-term deals, and Lonzo Ball, who's on an expiring deal. And collectively, all three guys are commanding $85 million in salary this season. Now, specifically, if we were just talking about Mr. Lonzo Ball, I think he is a guy that, if you're a basketball fan, you're definitely hoping that he's a guy, if he gets bought out or if he's a trade and your team has a salary that they're trying to just dish out, he's a guy that you're going to be like, hey, let's get interested in. The weird thing is that we're hearing that they want a second round pick, no, 2 second round picks for Nikola Vucevic, who's making $20 million with a third and final season after this year in his deal. And supposedly that's one of the more palpable deals for them to absorb. So that's one that I think is interesting when you look at it. And I want to hear your guys' opinion. Who do you think is going to trade for Lonzo Ball? Would you trade for him, and why? He's coming back from the wrist injury, or he just came back. I guess last night was his first game, so still working his way back from that. He, played 15 minutes, 2 3-pointers, and that's one thing I will say. He's primarily shot mainly 3-pointers. He's played 15 minutes a night in the 4 games, and he's a guy who's also right over here putting up 5 points, 3.5 assists, 2 rebounds. Nothing too crazy, as I feel like he's definitely somebody who can contribute to a team. Clearly is on a minutes restriction. He's playing solid defense. It's only been 4 games. Now, what is the salary? 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan. At this point, he's making about $20 million. So what do you do? What do you do, and how would he impact the team? Again, I think the best case scenario for him to end up on a championship team would be traded to a team like the Nets for, I guess in this case, the Nets would maybe give up a guy like, if the Bulls were not trying to rebuild, you'd think that they maybe go after Cam Johnson. But if they are trying to rebuild, you'd think that they would say, okay, how about a 3-team trade where Lonzo Ball ends up in Brooklyn, bought out, then Cam Thomas ends up in Chicago, and Dorian Finney-Smith ends up on a contending team, and that contending team sends the assets to appease the Nets, and what the Bulls just walk away with is Cam Thomas or whatever young players they want, but they help facilitate said deal. I could see something like that happening. I just think realistically, if he wants to go to a winning team, it has to be through a trade to a rebuilding team that is going to buy him out. Unless he wants to stay on that rebuilding team, just not even care about playing winning basketball right now, rebuild his value, rebuild his confidence, get a full season or whatever rest of this year underneath him, and then just be a free agent this offseason and have his choosings then. That could also be what could happen. I do find it rather interesting just because, damn, it's a wild one because Lonzo, but he's 26, and I think what, 26, 27 now? I guess he's 27. He turned 27 last month, and I can't see a team like, unless the Brooklyn Nets were like, yeah, and they don't want to take long-term salaries, so they're not going to take Vooch. Because I was going to say, the Ben Simmons is just not here, but 15 to 16 minutes a night, if he is a guy that maybe, who are some salary fillers around the NBA, and it's the Portland Trailblazers, the Washington Wizards, the Brooklyn Nets, the teams wise, that you have to think about. So then you look at that and you're like, okay, is that enough? I don't know, man. I think we've talked about the two options is he's going to end up on a rebuilding team if he is traded, and he either stays there to rebuild his value, or he understands that he'll get bought out and he ends up on a contending team playing 10 to 12 minutes a night as their Swiss Army knife, off the bench, defensive guy who guards the opposing team's best offensive player while also helping run the offense. And I think assuming anything more, anything less is just at that point would be kind of an insult to him. It's just a very precarious situation with the knee. And the funny part is he's coming back from a wrist injury. So it's not even his knee that's bothering him right now, or what would be bothering, executives. It's more so how healthy is he? And that's something that we really don't 100% know. Not his fault, but I thought that's kind of where I'm at on the whole, okay, how do we go about this? I think it's just we need to know how his body's responding. Because so far, all the times that we've tried to see his body respond, it hasn't been that great. And I think that's one of the bigger things about this. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think? Whoa. Did you guys see what this happened? I don't know why I did that, but I'm out of here. We made it to 8 minutes. I just wanted to make a quick video on that one. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Peace out. Ciao.